You saw his NFL veteran brother talking about his experience in the league earlier this week. Former Lobo lineman Eric Cook drafts experience up right now. Cook was a 2010 seventh-round draft pick of the Washington Redskins, joining his brother Ryan in the league. When Eric first heard his name called during the draft, it took him just a minute to figure out what team he was on.
Funny story about when I got drafted was Coach Shanahan was the one who called me, told me his name. He said, "Hey, we're picking you up next pick." And I was just so ecstatic. I had so many emotions. My mind was like, okay, what team does Coach Shanahan coach for? And because I was so excited, I immediately went back to, the Denver Broncos. So for a second, I thought I was going to Denver. But in all reality, it was when Coach Shanahan took his first year with the Redskins. So that's how I ended up in Washington.
Cook played 2 seasons in Washington, had a 3rd season with the New York Jets, and he's thankful for his time in the league, knowing each day is uncertain.
It didn't start the way I wanted, but I was fortunate enough to stay on the practice squad with the Washington Redskins, and went out and proved myself every day in practice, and ended up making a name for myself, and Coach Shanahan recognized that. So when the opportunity came for a roster spot to be open, I was awarded with it. And the funny part about that is that roster spot that I ended up taking was the $100 million man in Albert Hainsworth. So I replaced the $100 million man. That was pretty cool. People always told me that was going to be a trivia question for the Redskins one day.
There you go, a trivia question. Cook currently lives in Phoenix, Arizona, where he makes his living selling medical equipment. From a former Lobo to a future, head coach Danny Gonzalez adding another linebacker to his class of 24. 6'4", 230-pound Kyler Drake comes to the Lobos from Carter High School in San Bernardino, California, where he had a monster senior season with 101 tackles, 73 solo, 12 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks, and a fumble recovery. Lobos now with 6 linebackers in their current recruiting class. Rio Rancho wrestler Tim Lopez signed a letter of intent for Cal State Bakersfield. Lopez, a 2-time state champion with over 100 career wins in high school. He's not bad in the classroom either. 3.6 GPA for that young man, hoping to do big things on the mat at Bakersfield. The UFC is back on, announcing a trio of events, starting with the May 9th card that features Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje as the main event. Donald Cowboy Cerrone also on that card. So is another New Mexico-based fighter, Michelle Waterson. Waterson will face Carla Esparza in a strawweight fight. The fight was postponed once, but Waterson stayed in shape and kept her eyes on the scouting report.
She's a wrestler. You know, she was a winner of the Tough Show when they had the 115ers on there. You know, so she beat Rose Namajunas to be the first UFC strawweight champion, and then she went on to fight Joanna, and Joanna took that belt from her. You know, so she's had some up and downs, but she's really been working hard on improving her game as a complete MMA fighter. And, you know, she has a wrestling background, but her stand-up has been getting a lot better.
Waterson has a 17-7 record, Esparza 16-6. He's already won the Team Humanitarian Award during his time with New Mexico United. David Estrada continues to do David Estrada type of things. Estrada found an opportunity to give back, and of course he took it. He works at the Herman G. Sanchez Community Center in Albuquerque and took it up on himself to make sure kids at the center were fed with the supply of Dion's Pizza. Followed that up with a hefty serving of fruit after asking the kids their favorite fruit.
These kids look up to us, and, you know, I'm part of the staff, but because I'm New Mexico United, you know, like they actually listen and they want to like hear what I have to say. And it's a beautiful thing to be a part of, and it's a responsibility that I don't take lightly as well.
New Mexico United and the rest of the USL Championship continue to wait as they try to maneuver around the coronavirus pandemic. More sports on Fox New Mexico at 9 and KRQE News 13 at 10 on Channel 13.